around Australia, there are young people who don't go to school. No matter what the reason, whether they've been harmed, expelled, they're homeless, or they have mental health problems, or difficulties with drugs, alcohol, their family or their behaviour, it's not their fault, it's a consequence of poverty. And if you can't go to school, then you can't use education to get out of poverty. The YouthPlus Foundation supports YouthPlus flexible learning centres to open the door to education again. They re-engage disenfranchised youth by focusing on them individually, building safety and trust, and then crafting learning as each one becomes open to it. 10 years ago, there were just 4 flexible learning centres, all of them here in Queensland. Now, because they're so successful, word has spread, and there are 15 flexible learning centres along the entire east coast of Australia. And the flexible learning centres are not just down the east coast of Australia, they are here in the very heart, in Alice Springs. And all the way across the continent to here, the west coast, in Geraldton, Western Australia. And this is the current estate of flexible learning centres supported by the Foundation.
I probably would have been a lot like my dad, you know, I would have gone down the path of drugs. And when I got here, I kind of hit a fork in the road. It was like I had a choice. I could go that way and I can do that, or I can go, you know, the proper way, whether I know that I really want to go, you know. And that's the way I push myself.
Oh, if this wasn't available, I'd be gone. I'd be probably in the gutter somewhere, to be honest. You know, yeah, the kind of people that I was hanging out with, you know, the kind of trouble I was getting myself into, it wouldn't have ended nicely, really. I don't think I would have lived past 19.
The school has a real culture on transformation, has a real culture around accepting people for who they are, and that's probably one of the most amazing things about this place, and to see them sitting down, having lunch together, is a pretty amazing feeling. So to know that if they were at a mainstream school, these are young people that wouldn't be giving each other the time of day. The school tries hard to eliminate as many barriers to education as we can. So we provide a transport service to and from school every morning. We also provide 3 meals a day, in breakfast, lunch and then an afternoon tea, to help the young people come to school.
It's probably the best school I've been to. It's so much freedom, and there's no, well, I haven't seen any bullying or anything like that here. Everyone's pretty accepting of everyone.
We've got a lot of kids that are in care, so under guardianship of the minister, and so we kind of end up being the last resort for them.
It's not like a regular school. They treat you with a lot of respect, and they treat you like an adult. Everyone is treated equally, no one's favoured or anything like that. Yeah, I've been wanting to learn barista for a while now, and I did start doing a hospitality course in term 2. If this school wasn't here, I would definitely not be going to school.
So the woodwork program is really great, especially for the very boisterous boys that can't sit still for very long, so they can make some really awesome furniture for their houses. That seems to really engage them when they can actually make a coffee table and take it home and use it, and they can see that they've achieved something.
The asylum seeker group at North Melbourne come to us generally when they're over the age of 18, so 18 plus. They have generally been unaccompanied minors, so they've come to Australia via boat as an unaccompanied minor, which means that they've come without a parent or guardian.
As you can see, my speaking, it's really changed. My accent, my pronunciation, and important thing, my English. Before that, I couldn't speak English, never.
I'm hoping for them that people feel educated and empowered to achieve whatever they want to do, and the reason that they came to Australia, which is to have a safe and a peaceful life here.
When I started working, my sister and I needed to work a lot in order to bring income into the house to help support everybody. So yeah, it was, school kind of got put on the back burner, I guess, because it wasn't really as important as eating. So if I hadn't come to Albert Park, I don't think I'd be a university student. I'd probably just be working at the takeaway shop that I was working at when I started here, which, yeah, isn't bad, but definitely not what I want out of life.
Workers in a flexi school have to be really strongly engaged with the young people. All of the workers will do all sorts of things, like we'll provide food, we'll try and organise accommodation, we will be talking to, you know, trying to get mental health support or drug and alcohol support. We'll take people to hospital, we'll take them to the doctors. We'll get ourselves involved. We will, if you like, we will be the family for that young person, because that's what they need.
The real teachers, they teach here. So they are doing Jesus' work. This is very much centered on Catholic ethos and Catholic social justice principles.
Well, there's a range of activities that we give young people that gets them out into the environment, which is a really important thing, because we're really conscious about young people having a closer relationship with the environment. And I guess secondly, the other most important thing is about a sense of building team, a sense of self that happens when you're not sitting in a classroom. So there's a whole lots of things that are happening: camping trips, overnighters, big long trips to places like Carnarvon Gorge. There's a boat called the South Passage that we take kids on that goes for 3 or 4 nights. There's a whole lot of development that happens in that from an educational perspective.
The cooking program is extremely useful in giving them life skills. For some of these kids, they come from families where they eat McDonald's and Hungry Jack's on a regular basis, and home cooking just doesn't happen. It's either out of a cardboard box or, you know, a pre-prepared meal from Woolies. So for them, getting the life skills and learning how to cook healthy and nutritious meals is a massive, massive thing. We've had quite a few students that have actually gained employment out of getting their Cert 2 in hospitality, so that's been a big, big impact for their lives as well.
Everything stems from relationship, and that is how we work with young people to show how principles are important.
We work with the 4 principles of honesty, participation, safe and legal, and respect. And in everything that we do, in all the conversations that we have with our young people, the terminology is used, thus coming from Edmund Rice.
At such a young age, you don't expect to be respected. You don't expect to be respected at all. So when I came here, I was a normal person. It's as if I was the same age as everyone else, and no one had a care in the world about your past. They just came in, they accepted who you are for who you are.
Yes, I feel that if the flexi schools didn't have any childcare facilities, then I probably wouldn't have looked at going back to school or finishing year 11 and 12.
Music is everything to this generation. They can't do their assignments, they can't work in the classroom without music in their ears. This generation, music is everything. And it just seems to be the thing that gets them in.
But when they walk through that school gate at the start of the day, they are children, they are young people. When they leave the school, they become grown-ups. Some of these kids are homeless, and some of them live in shelters, and they haven't got a stable family life.
Schools get funded on young people that are enrolled and attend, and that really works for most young people. But for our young people, we often do the most work with the ones that are not able to come to school. You know, there might be a young person that attends every day, and that's fantastic, but the huge amount of young people that struggle to get out of bed, that we need to go and visit at home and spend months of engaging and focusing on their well-being, they're the young people we don't get funded for, because they don't meet this system of attending school a certain amount to be able to get funded.
I firmly believe, given the numbers that we're aware of young people that are not engaged in learning or earning, some 70,000, that as a country we have a responsibility to ensure that every young person can meet their potential.
I think if I hadn't have come here, I would be at home on a daily basis, probably in a situation where drugs may have been involved, which is no good. I mean, that's how a lot of people deal with their problems as well.
If you feel as if you don't fit in, come here. There's a lot of arms, really. It's like my second family.
The school is probably the greatest thing that has happened in my life.